Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Entertainment Roadmap. Today, we are here with the wonderful Georgia Acken from Under the Bridge. We are so excited to speak with her. Georgia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We're so excited to speak with you. And I think Noah's going to start us off with our questions today.
Awesome.
Yes. So I guess going back, how did you start first get into acting?
Yeah, good question. I basically I think I've always loved storytelling, like in any form. I have four siblings, and when I was really little, my brothers and I would like play these story games in our backyard, and we would like make these entire worlds and then play different characters like in these different worlds that we made. So I feel like that's kind of how I started like acting before I knew that it was like a career or something you could actually pursue. And then like my parents were huge theater kids. So when I was like 10, they started taking me to theater shows, and I started falling in love with it more then. And then in 2018, I had an audition for Matilda the musical, and it was my first audition that I had ever done. Like I hadn't done anything before, no training or anything, and I kind of just was like, oh, okay, well this is not going to happen, so it'll kind of just be like a fun experience. Can just do it, try it out, and yeah. And then I think like 2 or 3 weeks after that, I found out that I had gotten the part of Matilda, and that kind of opened up like that whole world for me, and yeah, everything kind of just started happening after that.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Also, those games that you used to play, I would do that with my sister and my cousins all the time. But I always refused to act. I always wanted to like direct everybody and tell them all what to do. And we would
Oh,
do plays for our parents.
yes.
But so
I,
kind of the same.
I,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so wow, you just kind of like really fell into it then, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Also, I just want to say you give off like such Matilda vibes. You must have been like an impeccable Matilda when you were
Oh,
in the
thank
show.
you so much. That's
No
so sweet.
problem. No, I mean, I'm like, you must have just like nailed the part because your looks, your personality, like you're just the embodiment of Matilda.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice. I love Matilda was my favorite musical like beforehand anyway. So I was so excited and also terrified. Like terrified. But yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a random question off topic, but did you participate in the TikTok trend when it was viral about like all the girls who played Matilda on stage?
I didn't. I wanted to, but I did watch a lot of those and I was like, "Oh, they're so cute." Yeah, I didn't. I think I was like just I think I was just a little bit too late for that, but I did see
Okay.
like I watched some of them afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then how did you become a part of Under the Bridge and what was that audition process like?
Yeah, it was actually quite a short process. So, I had originally received an audition for a different character in the show, but I was away when they needed it, so I couldn't film it. So I kind of just like forgot about it and put it to the back of my head. And then like in December of 2022, I was doing a show in Vancouver, and I received another audition for young Rebecca Godfrey, and we kind of pieced together that it was the same show. And yeah, and then I ended up doing quite a bit of research because um I like about Rena Burke, because obviously Under the Bridge is based on a true story, like the murder of Rena Burke in 1997. And it was this huge impactful tragedy that occurred, but I didn't know too much about it. My parents knew a lot about it, and like all of their friends did, but I didn't know much, so I really wanted to understand what happened. So yeah, I did quite a bit of research before, and then I sent in the self tape, and I didn't I didn't hear anything back for like 2 3 weeks again, and then I got the call from my agent that I had gotten the part, and that was kind of it.
That's so exciting. It's also crazy to see how long it takes to kind of cast a TV show and how you had an audition for another part how many months beforehand, and then it fell into your lap. So this show was really just made for you.
Aw, yeah. Well, yeah, and I think there's so many moving parts, like, for the people who are making the show and, like, bringing it to life, there's, like, all the different components they have to think about, so, like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, there's probably so much going on. I feel for like directors and everybody who's behind the scenes because there's so many moving parts to making movies like come to life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so you're also playing the same character as Riley Keough. So how did you manage to emulate the same Rebecca as her through mannerisms, but also making the character your own?
Oh yeah. Well, we were actually really lucky with that because we had a coach on set. And she was helping us with that exact thing. Like that was her big thing. And she showed us some of the scenes that they had already filmed with Lily and Riley. And we were watching for their mannerisms and how they were playing the characters, and then we kind of were just following that. So for instance, one of the big things with Riley's Rebecca is that she tucks her hair behind her ears a lot. So that was kind of one of the things that I was like, okay, I can be doing that and kind of sprinkle that in throughout the scenes just whenever it feels natural. So that was a huge help. And then I think just like, oh, well, having Isabel and Tegan, who played young Cam and Gabe on set, was so nice. They are so lovely and so talented. I'm still like really good friends with them, like to this day. And yeah, I think that like we all just bonded really quickly on set, and that really helped with like creating that already established relationship between the three of us. And then Quinn, who was the director of our episode, she is so cool and so lovely, and she was really good at like expressing her vision and what she kind of was looking for. So I think like with her guidance and all of those kind of things, it really helped with that.
That's really interesting. And you guys did an amazing job. Like it's very believable. And that's also a very sad, very heartbreaking flashback
Yeah,
to see. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's intense.
Yeah, and I mean, I can only imagine what it's like to film when you're going between present day and flashbacks. So, how much of the present day timeline were you aware of while filming your scenes, if any at all? And then what was it like to see everything all interconnected throughout the final cut of the episode?
Yeah. Yeah, so I had seen bits and pieces of the script, and I knew some things, and then obviously I knew about what happened in real life. But I didn't know like how it would play out in the show. I didn't know too much, because I think we did film the flashback kind of in the middle of when they're filming the series, like kind of halfway through, I think. But I had just seen little bits and pieces, and so it's been really cool to watch the show come out every week with everybody else and see it for the first time. Yeah, it's been really cool because I didn't know how it would play out.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I
Hmm.
mean, was it confusing just to be filming with flashbacks and like I don't know if that would be something that's like a little confusing for the actors.
Right. I don't think so. I think that it really helped getting a strong hold on who our characters were and how Lily and Riley were playing Cam and Rebecca, because I think that just was like, we really just wanted to follow them and what they were doing, and kind of, yeah, like you said, like emulate like their younger self. And like I think that just kind of holding on to that and really like understanding their portrayal of the character was just really helpful. And I think that's kind of all we had to worry about for that flashback scene. But yeah,
Mhm. And did you get to meet them at all while you were shooting this or no?
I met Lily, and she's so cool. She's the nicest. And I saw Riley for a brief second. I didn't get to talk to her, but yeah, she seemed really cool.
So what's something that you learned while shooting Under the Bridge that you'll take with you on all of your future projects?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I think that it's okay to ask questions and to work something on set until you feel comfortable with it, and everybody feels good about it, because I mean, and this is something that I'm continuing to learn as a performer, but I do remember when I first started going on set, like I would get so stressed out because I would think, okay, this is my part. This is what I have to do, and I have to do it right. And everybody's watching, and I would create this like really intense pressure on myself. But I think that as actors, we have to remember that like everybody on the crew and who's making the film come to life has the same goal in mind, which is making the piece of cinema like as truthful and as good as it can be. So with that in mind, like it's okay to communicate and not to be shy or afraid of trying new things. And yeah, and I think that the set of Under the Bridge really like was a really good way of finding that out because it was such a positive environment. Everybody was always taking care of each other, always making sure that everyone was supported, which I think is really important on a show that's as intense as this one. Like mental health is a huge aspect, so it made it really easy to kind of like get a grasp on that.
That's really good advice, and anyways, just for life in general, about not
Yeah.
being afraid to ask questions. And it's
Yeah.
super nice to hear how nice the environment on the set was, especially with the type of project that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's so important. And kind of going to before Under the Bridge, you played a leading role in the horror film The Sacrifice Game. What was it like getting to shoot that film? And do you have any fun behind the scenes stories?
Oh my gosh. The Sacrifice Game was the first film that I'd ever been a part of, and it was the most like incredible surreal experience. Like it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. It was so amazing. I think I felt so connected to everybody there, like on the casting crew. Like Jen Wexler, our director, she is like the most amazing human being. I love her so much. Um, yeah, I feel so incredibly lucky and grateful to have worked with her and like gotten to know her as well. And like everybody, like Phil, Albert, Pierre, everybody on the casting crew, everybody was so nice and it was so much fun. We filmed in Montreal for a month, in this haunted old abbey in like the middle of nowhere. Um, and yeah, and there was definitely some paranormal like encounters. Like like things would like move and people would not know like who like we would ask around and be like, did anybody move this? And we'd be like, no. Or like I know lights would flicker off and on. Yeah, stuff like that, like crazy stuff was going on. And then fun moments from set. Oh, okay. I'm a huge Billie Eilish fan, and there was this one day that I remember. I don't know where the ukuleles came from, but somehow we had ukuleles and we were in our trailers and Madison and Laurent, who played Doug and Samantha in the film, we learned the harmonies for Happier Than Ever. And we were all playing that together in our downtime. And yeah, I just kind of remember that being like one of my favorite moments. It was such a core memory. It was just, yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah, that seems like such a sweet moment, especially like it's Billie Eilish, everyone's like a fan, and it's just such like I don't know, I feel like the song is so emotional. It seems like it was
Um,
such yeah,
yeah,
no, that sounds awesome. And
Mhm.
I want to tell you that I've always been raised being told that when lights flicker, that means that it is something haunted. Like spirits will play with the lights the most. So that's actually pretty creepy that that was going on.
yeah, it was creepy. It was creepy for sure. But yeah, so much fun.
My
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. And like I mentioned before we started the interview that I saw the film at Fantasia because I live in Montreal. So I go to that film festival a lot. And I saw this movie with my dad and we both like really enjoyed it. And you could just tell while watching it how much fun it was to film. And
Yeah,
great.
100%. Like I mean, it was a horror film, but like I think because everybody knew that, like we were all just making sure that like there was a lot of like laughter going on as well, and like a lot of like good
Hmm.
time behind the camera as well, so you could have like that balance. And
Hmm.
everybody just kind of clicked. Like the team was so like everybody was friends. It was awesome.
Yeah. And I know Jen, she spoke after the screening of the film, and it was really interesting to hear everything she had to say about the creation of the film. And that's a good film festival to go to if you like horror, just because it's like for a horror film. So everybody in the audience just loves horror films.
Yeah, it was my first film festival that I'd ever been to.
Yeah.
And I think we saw two other movies. It was so cool.
Yeah. I saw Talk to Me there. That was crazy. Like,
Really?
yeah. Yes.
That's
Th- The whole auditorium, like that many people, everybody like screaming and laughing at the same time. It's crazy. Hmm. Yes.
It's crazy.
Um, yeah. So switching gears a little bit, you also sing, as you've mentioned, and you also played Matilda. Do you have a preference between singing and acting, or is combining both something that you'd like to do more of one day?
mm. I mean, oh man, I feel like I love them both so much. Like they're both like two things that make me like the happiest ever. So I don't know if I could pick between them. And I think like I think any chance to combine the both is like amazing. I think the world needs more musicals. That might be an unpopular opinion to some, but I do love
I
a good musical.
agree. I
Always do.
agree.
I'm a
I
big
love musicals. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Always say that if I could sing and act, I would be in all of the musicals, but I can't do either, so I just watch them.
If I could sing
But
and act, it would be over for everyone because I would just be auditioning for musical after
yeah.
musical. But yeah,
Period.
Yeah. But
Period.
my one of my best friends, she goes to theater school and she just put on Heathers with her school. So I saw that. She played Veronica and I was like, I wish I went to like every single night that they put this on because I
Wait,
went to the closing night.
oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Closing night is
Yeah.
oh, that's
I
kind of
know. But then I always do that because then I have no like there's nothing more that I could spend money on the next days, but then I always regret not seeing every other performance.
oh, that's so
Yeah.
real. There.
Hmm.
and I mean, what's the difference between stage acting and acting for camera in your opinion? Because they seem pretty similar, but I think there's a big difference.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think I think the main difference would be for theater, you are performing to an entire room full of people. So your emotions and like your movements have to reach the back of the room. Um, and it's also live, so that's like it's the magic of live theater. Like it is like a moment that you cannot recreate the same show twice. Like you can be having the same show playing for like multiple days, but like that one performance won't be done again, which I think is really cool. But yeah, like everything is bigger and I think more magnified. Whereas with TV acting, I think it's more internal because there are cameras involved. So your audience could be like right here instead of like all the way at the back of the room. So yeah, I think it's more internal. And I do think that like, I think TV acting is more accurate to how people interact on a day-to-day basis, whereas theater is kind of more of a extravagant like form of storytelling. But I think they're both so good, and they're both like yeah, I can see why you like it would seem like they're pretty similar. Because I mean it's both acting, but yeah, I think that there's that.
Yeah, no, that's actually really interesting. Thank you for breaking that down. And so here at Entertainment Roadmap, we love to do like a hot seat questions. Sorry, I like just tripped on my words. We love to do hot seat questions. Would you like to sit in the hot seat and answer some questions for us?
I am so ready. I
Perfect.
am ready.
So what's your all-time favorite horror movie?
Ooh, okay. Oh man, that's such a hard question. All time? Okay, I think that right now I really really like Late Night with the Devil. I don't know if you've seen that film, but it's a new horror movie that just came out.
I haven't
I
seen it yet.
haven't seen it yet. Mhm.
It is so good. It is insanely good. I mean, I think I watched it twice in 24 hours. It was like I had to do a double take with it. I was like it is amazing. It like I don't think I've ever seen any movie like it. It like plays with the fourth wall so much. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Oh,
My
interesting.
gosh. I'm definitely gonna have to watch
Yeah.
that. Yes. What's your favorite decade for fashion?
I'm gonna say 70s to 80s. I think that's pretty cool.
Yes, good
I just
choice.
had to do something at work where I had to dress up from the 70s, and I loved it. Like the bell-bottom jeans and like all of that stuff. It was so
Yeah. I did an internship on a film set, and one of our days we had 260 extras, and it was took place in the 80s. So everybody, with the whole street, like was filled with people dressed from the 80s, and it was crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what are three things you'd want to have with you on a deserted island?
Oh, okay. I think I would take number one, I would take my guitar because I feel like I would go crazy without it. And then number two, I would take a lifetime supply of watermelons because watermelons are my favorite food. And then number three, I would take a boat to get off.
That's
Yeah.
like
Good
Yeah.
picks. Um, and who's an actor or director you'd like to work with one day?
Ooh. Okay. I don't know if Jonathan Entwistle, the director, he did I'm Not Okay with This, the TV show, and End of
Yeah.
the World. Yeah, I really
And yeah, I think he's in Montreal right now too, doing the new Karate Kid movie, I'm pretty
oh
sure.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
I I definitely
Hmm.
love his show so much.
Can we talk about
Yes.
how I am not okay with this just ended and there was like no ending to it? And that has literally been my Roman Empire for the past 3 years.
I I concur. I did
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
found this not continue.
Hmm.
I have several like theories in my head, but yeah,
Hmm.
it was a tragedy for
I know. It's really difficult to start a TV show these days if like you think it might get canceled. Like my mom, she refuses to start a show unless it's a mini series or it's already been renewed for a for a new season because she doesn't want it to like end and then we're not going to get any more. And so,
yeah,
yeah.
It's
Luckily,
yeah,
Under the Bridge is a mini series. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
But Georgia, thank you so much for joining us today. We had such a great time talking with you and learning all about your experience on Under the Bridge, and we wish you the best and we hope to speak with you again soon one day.
Yeah, oh my gosh, thank you for having me. It was so much fun.